Hi everyone, this is Aarti here from One Little Dreamer. So I ordered another box and it's one of these wooden boxes. These are the 4x4 wooden boxes from, I think this was from Joann's, and it's one of those cute little, wooden boxes, and I really like those because they have these nice smooth edges, and it doesn't have those the hardware in here in the front. So I really like that because your trim or whatever your lace you're putting on here can go all around, and you can put your own little door handle there. And even if you don't, it doesn't, it shuts on its own. So I really like those boxes. Now let me show you what I did to the box. Ta-da! Okay, so this is I used the, as you can see, I used the Prima Delight paper pad in this. I only used a couple of sheets, just here and there. I used one for the top and one for the bottom, and I think I used one on the inside. So let me tell you what I did to the box. Now, the first thing I did, of course, was to paint the whole box a cream color, and then because I was going to use this pink ruffle trim on it, I chose to go over the cream paint with a soft pink. Let me see if it'll focus. Okay, so I chose to go over it with a soft pink so that it gives merging of those two colors without the pink being too loud. So I was able to acquire the right shade of pink. Now what I did was after painting the box, oh my god, I'm all over the place. I wanted something very girly and frilly and soft to the touch. So you can see the cream and pink mix of the paint over here. Now what I did was I used the ruffle trim from my store, this one. And what I did was, instead of going straight across the box like this, I went like this. I went in a up and down fashion along the bottom of the box so that it created this effect. And what I did was I only glued under the pearls. Instead of gluing everywhere, I glued under the pearls, and there are certain places where it would stick out, so I glued it to make sure that it doesn't unravel, and it gave this nice cupcakey look. And I actually thought that I would have to use quite a bit of trim along the bottom, but surprisingly I don't think I used more than maybe a yard or a yard and a quarter of a yard. So that was a pleasant surprise. And then what I did was I tied this charm to some seam binding, and then I glued it all the way up till here on the box. This was before I layered the paper in, just so that, because I wanted this to be something that they could pull on to open the box. So I didn't want it, coming off, because I was only gluing it over here. So I glued it all the way from the top right up till here, and then I glued my paper on. And then of course I went around it with these pearls, and then I used this has got to be one of my favorite trims. It's I think it's from Elegant Embellishments. Yes, this is the trim that I used. It's from Elegant Embellishments, and you see how dainty and pretty it is. And I love the fact that it's stretchy and ruffled, and it's super soft. So I went around that, and I like how it frames the top of the box with a little frill. So, and then of course this is the pearl drop trim that most of you guys have seen and know me by. And along the bottom of the box, I just glued some paper on with my stamp. And on the top, I didn't do much. I used the same ruffle trim to create this flower. I just went under one of the shabby rosettes with that trim and put a flower center. So that was a really easy flower. I put a couple of hard appliques along the on the paper before I glued the flower down, and this is just, you know, something to add a little bling, and I just, you know, kind of just glued it on there, whatever way, I just glued it on there. I didn't overthink it. This was a black, this was, you know, completely a black resin, I think that's what you call it, a resin rose, and because I wanted it to match the trim at the bottom, but I also wanted it to bring out the little black elements and to give some contrast, I went over it with with the same pink paint that I used on the box. I just kind of, you know, went over it with my finger, with a brush and all kinds of things, and then I placed a little pearl in it to match this trim. And so that is the opening of the box. And then on the inside, I didn't do much. I just used the cream and pink paint over the inside, and at the bottom I just placed some paper and you know, surprise. And what I did was I cut this paper by just eyeballing it, and it was a little short along the edges. So what I did was, to cover, you know, the gap between the paper and the edge of the box, it was quite a bit short. So what I did was I went over it, I placed it in the center and went over it with the little pearls. And if you look at it now, you can't make out that there was a gap. So if you make a boo-boo, you know what to do. And that is my little box. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope the person receiving it likes it too. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.